I was only 10 years old when I actually moved to my second house. Everything felt nice. Everything seemed clear to me. My first house was beautiful. However, we did have some problems paying the rent and the mortgage. My parents just couldn't take it, so we decided to move near a place where we used to live. I had a strange feeling about this place even before we moved. Not because I actually seen the house before, but the house that was next to the house that we were gonna move seemed a little bit odd. I knew that for some reason I was going to detest living in that house. Little did I know, I lived near a haunted house for the rest of my life. It all started when we moved in. The first night we moved in, everything seemed calm. The house was big, a big backyard, a front yard, friendly neighbors. All but that house next to us. I looked outside my window. The house was dark, not just any type of dark. It was pitch black, the type of dark that makes you want to stay away from it. However, I actually did not fear it for some reason. It felt welcoming. It was kind of like I was being drawn by something, like it was calling to me. I went to bed at exactly 8 o'clock because I had school the next day. Everything seemed fine on the first day. I woke up the next morning, brushed my teeth, took a shower, normal things boys do before they go to school. Once I do come home from school, I start to play video games before I actually do my homework because I like to relax before I actually do any work. Finally, I get off my PlayStation 2 and I notice a little crack on my window, which wasn't there before. I thought maybe kids hit it with something because there were kids playing outside in the streets. Then I heard a noise coming straight from behind me, almost like they were footsteps, but there was no one there. All of a sudden, my room just automatically gets cold, like somebody has touched the thermostat or something. But I looked at it and it was still on the same degree. 73 degrees is where we keep it. Seems odd. Maybe something went wrong. However, I knew that wasn't the case. I looked outside my window. Didn't saw anything. I was looking outside. The only thing I saw was the kids playing in front of my yard. It was only when I saw on my next window a dark figure staring at me from the other side of the house. The dark house. It was an overwhelming feeling. It was staring at me, no matter where I moved. I felt violated, mostly. I never experienced anything like this before. It was chilling. My mom called me for supper. We had the usual, which is rice and beans and some fried chicken. I finished my plate and say thanks to my mom for such a wonderful meal. I go back to my room. My brother and sister are there too. We share rooms. Night hits. We are preparing for bed. I finally go to sleep and wake up in the middle of the night. My brothers are still up. My sister is still up as well. I go to open the door because I need to use the restroom. Right when I opened the door, a strange figure standing in front of me. I thought I was going insane. I thought I had lost my mind. But I guess not, because both my brothers and sisters saw it. Big, red, glowing eyes, just staring at me. I come face to face with it. I screamed and peed my pants. A large lake was forming beneath my feet. My mom came running and turned on the light, and just as she turned on the light, it was gone, vanished out of thin air, like a shadow. I've heard of these things before, but I've never experienced them, which is why I was so scared the first time. However, this is only one of the many things that happened to me. There are more. The next night, I actually woke up to go to the bathroom once more. I was barefooted, so once I touched the floor, I noticed something very different. The floor was hot and cold at the same time, which, if you know, is really impossible because nothing could be hot and cold at the same time. I noticed it, but I didn't mind it. For some reason, my only goal was to get to the bathroom. Right before I reached the door, I stopped. I couldn't move. It was like something had grabbed my feet. I was standing there, just trying to move, as if I was paralyzed. All of a sudden, a big red hand comes out of the floor, desperately trying to reach for my feet. I screamed as I kicked the hand. It was struggling just to get to my feet, as it almost pulled me down to God knows where. My mom comes in running. She turns on the light, and all of a sudden it's gone again. At this point, I'm wondering what is going on here. Both my brother and sister have seen these things. They're also wondering the same. I tried to explain to my mother, Mom, bad things are in this house. You're not getting my point. Please, understand. My mom knew that things were going into this house, but she didn't realize it because the only thing she actually cared about was having the house because we couldn't afford any other place. Finally, the next day, I was playing in my backyard. I had a little transformer toy which I like to play with a lot. I forget the name honestly, but it was a silver one. He could turn into a jet. All of a sudden, I heard a huge growl coming behind the fence. I couldn't see anything. It was almost as if a human got caught in something. Then it hit me. What if it wasn't a human? What if something actually got caught by something else? Could it be a bear? But bears don't belong in Puerto Rico. Weird. All of a sudden, two guys show up covered in blood jumping my fence. I panicked. I wonder what is going on here. Why are they covered in blood? They were screaming something at me, but I just couldn't make up the words because they were talking too fast. Then they finally slowed down. They asked me if we had a phone to get back in my house. I asked why. They didn't respond. They kept insisting that I get back in my house and call the cops. It was right there when they picked me up and tried to force me into my house that I finally saw what they were talking about. Right when the third guy jumped my fence without a head. Now that is inconvenient. How does a body jump a fence without a head? That is not possible. Could it be that his final wish before he died was to jump a fence? If so, what could have caused it? I had no idea. However, there was something odd about this situation. I started to wonder where his head had gone, but that was surely explained after A huge crocodile actually came and burst through my fence with the guy's head on its mouth. I was shocked. I have never seen such a wild creature, especially not one that big. That one must have been 11 feet, maybe even higher. I went inside when both them and my mom grabbed me. I didn't even know that my mom knew about the situation until she grabbed me. We got inside and called the cops. Thank God that we actually had a metal door. That thing was trying to scratch through it. We called animal control and they quickly paralyzed it. They took it into the truck and took it with them. Forensics team took the head and sealed it away. Finally, my mom has realized what has been going on here, and we decided to move. Now the house lays there quarantined, and no one can live in there. 2 years afterwards, we decided to do some research. I found out that there were 2 murders in that house and 3 suicides. But this didn't make sense because the things that actually came from the other house and not that one. So how could that be? It made absolutely no sense. But I guess sometimes things don't actually need to make sense to make sense. All I'm saying is, they're watching, and you're going to be next.